Ah, we're live. Let's go. Woo, let's go. Hydration check starting off with Let's go. We got a hunter. Haha, that's weird. We have a ranger announcement. I let it slip. Secretly, I'm just going to say this now. This might be a hot take, and who knows what the future holds. But I will say, I personally would rename the ranger to Hunter. I'm just saying. I know I'm just starting things off spicy right now, but that's just if it was up to me only. That's what would happen. Just saying. So anyway. Dustbreaker stream loaded on the phone and TV plus wife watching. The support, guys, the support. Dustbreaker, thank you, and Dustbreaker's wife, thank you. This is all. It's a family event here, people. Let's go. And then Virian with another member message. Show Coach some love. Smash the like button, guys. Thank you, Omnicon. I might hydration check. All right, hey, I started off with a hydration check, and y'all are making me do another one. That's fine. It's fine, understandable. After the day that I've had, I could use some hydration checks. It's been absolutely crazy, but everything's good. Everything's awesome, and I can't wait to share with y'all the Ranger subclass update. That came around quickly. I know it's like it's been a week already. Weeks fly by, people. Weeks fly by. So, we will see if it's called Hunter. I'd rather rename the fighter. Interesting, into like warrior or we'll see. The fighter's on the docket to be renamed to something like champion or something like that. But anyway, so yeah, tomorrow's Patreon is at 10 o'clock in the morning. Every Tuesday at 8:30 p.m. Central Standard Time. And every Wednesday is a patron-only live stream at 10 a.m. Central Standard Time. Boom. Done. And Kyle Doring, welcome to the team once again. Awesome. So here's how tonight's working, people. We are doing a half and half stream of a Ranger subclass announcement for the subclasses that are going to be in the core rulebook of DC20. But there is some wiggle room here, and I am going to do a voting poll at the end of that to see what the people think of the subclasses up to that point. So we are going to do a poll because right now there's only 3 core subclasses, but I got kind of 5 right now that are kind of floating around. So yeah, let's see how this whole thing goes. How can I make sure I'm getting all the Kickstarter content when the release? Yeah, so if you've gotten any Kickstarter stuff, if you back the Kickstarter and you got sent the Monster Starter Pack and the core rules, you're set. That means your email's in the doc and queue, and you are going to be sent all the stuff. That was the like 2-month long troubleshooting situation, but we got it all figured out. So let's go. All right. So now here's how this is going to go. I'm going to do the Ranger subclass breakdown, and then that's probably going to take about half of this time, and then we're going to open up to questions. So hold your questions right now. We're not taking them just yet, and let's rock and roll. So. When is the Power Ranger? I see what you did there, Matt Vey Sokolov. Anyway, I see what you did there. I appreciate it. Anyway, Power Rangers. I was a huge Power Ranger fan, like crazy. Had every single Zord. Whew. All right, focus. All right, so here is the first Ranger subclass. I have 2 that are pretty much locked in. The other 3 are kind of up in the air, right? Okay. Hydration check, probably good to do before I do one of these. Thank you, Power Hungry. Oh, Curly Bolt. Can't wait. Do my favorite class justice. You and Swordplay and Sorcery are Ranger fanatics. And there's another patron whose name is Ranger. So they are super fanatic as well. So I think the Ranger's in a great spot right now, aka Hunter. Anyway, so here we go. The first one on the docket is one that I believe. Hold up. We got super chats. Hold up. Dougson Morales, I want to use the super chat to say thanks to the VTT team. Thanks, guys. You're doing a great job. Oh, man. Yeah, honestly, the VTT team is killing it. I just had a call today with some Demiplane. So expect to be seeing some stuff soon on Demiplane. That's going to be kind of crazy. Soon as in like month or two, like, you know, a chunks of month, like a small amount of months, right? I don't want to get y'all's hopes up. That's been huge. Foundry's been leading the charge on VTT progressions, and they are just absolutely killing it. So that's been awesome and crazy. So yeah, props to the VTT squad there. Super awesome. All right, now focus. All right. Whew. My ADHD is showing, I guess. So the first subclass for Rangers, boom, 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 boom. First subclass is, again, also, I said this last week, is based on when I say a subclass and whenever I say certain things about the subclass and kind of give me a number 1 to 10 of your overall take of the subclass. If you don't really feel anything for it and you're indifferent because you wouldn't play a Ranger anyway, then you don't have to say anything. I don't want you to just say a 1 because you would never play a Ranger anyway. But if you have a feeling of some kind, let me know that feeling, right? 10 would be like, oh my gosh, I can't wait, I want to play that. A 7, I think, is like, oh, cool. A 7's like, okay, cool. 8's probably like, ooh, cool, I like that. 7's like, all right, I mean, that's better than, but it doesn't excite, you get what I'm saying. And a 5 is like, oh man, okay, it could be better. And anything below that, you get the idea. So anyway, let's go. First subclass for the Ranger, I feel like has to be there. This was the one when I talked to my team, I said, like, guys, I feel like this is a no-brainer. We have to do this for the community, for not memes, but for people who play the game and want to play a Ranger a certain way, part of a class fantasy of a Ranger, all of those things. We have to do this one, and we have to do it right. And I also feel like it has to be in the core rule book because it's something that would not be added into a later date. Wait, the live stream keeps freezing? Live stream keeps freezing. Last time it keeps wanting coach to say what? Guessing. Okay. I guess I'm freezing for some people. I don't know. Anyway, live stream's fine. I'm good. Okay, cool. All right, cool. Anyway. All right. Without further ado, first subclass for the Ranger is Beastmaster, right? So yes, Beastmaster is going to be the first one of the core rule ones for sure. Is Beastmaster. And here's the thing though, if y'all didn't know this about DC20, there is a Beastmaster / Tamer class. Like there is a full-blown class that is all about their pet, right? It's literally to the point where you are a regular commoner person and your pet is 10 times stronger than you. Your pet is what's leveling up and getting features. You do nothing. Your pet does everything, right? So there is a class in DC20 that will be released in the future that is called the Tamer for right now. And it's a full-blown class, right? So if there's a full-blown class that does this and accomplishes this at level 1, that's already a class, right? So if people want to play that, they'll be playing that in the future. But that's in the future. That's not right now. And if people want to what's going on, right? So how can we have the Beastmaster Ranger not step on the toes of the Tamer in the future, right? A Tamer is a Pokemon trainer. Technically no, because they only have one, really. They have like one that they really, really go into. You could reflavor that as swapping things out, but it's I'm not going to get into that. There is the Summoner is also on the table. That's probably more so your Pokemon Master, or this Ranger, which is honestly could be you could accomplish that as well. So what's going to be accomplished for this Beastmaster Ranger is going to be basically imagine a familiar, but you could find a real animal and turn that into your familiar. There'd be a level of magic involved here as far as like a spirit bond, as far as the bonding with the actual animal spirit. So if you wanted to, you would go into the wild, you would find an animal, and then you would bond with it magically in that way, and bond with its spirit in some way. And that would be your beast, and that would be the thing that you're able to command and move around, and it would be able to work like that, right? It's not going to be some little arcane familiar that puffs in and out, all that kind of stuff. And you'll be able to there'll be some familiar adjacent type things, but it's going to be accomplished in that type of way. Whereas the Tamer is going to literally be, if you put a Beastmaster Ranger's pet against the Tamer's pet, it wouldn't even be close, because the entire power budget of the Tamer is in its pet. And the Beastmaster Ranger is going to have like a familiar on steroids, right? Now, higher levels and other stuff, and if you take talents and everything like that, it gets stronger, but you get the idea, right? So there's Beastmaster. So I think Beastmaster is iconic enough to have for a Ranger, and I think it was one of the necessary things I feel like I needed to do for the community. I see some comments of like 5s and it being a waste and all that kind of stuff, and I absolutely see that. And for me personally, I would not necessarily myself do it if I had to take a step back, because we have the Tamer, and if you could take a thing at level 2 and then you'd be able to have it, so you could accomplish it through a talent and multi-class dipping into Tamer or something like that. But I think for all the people, the massive amount of people that do want to play a Ranger that is all about that, and they have a wolf pet at their side, we have to. I feel like this is one of those things where we just absolutely have to, right? So there's that. And there is the Beastmaster. Now, next up. I love the Hunter. I see Rikaika. I love the Hunter class in World of Warcraft, so the Wilderness Fighter, the Beast Companion. I dig it. Hey, don't even get me started on World of Warcraft. Okay. So next up, number two is also a locked in pretty much. Number 2 is a class fantasy that I don't think is done very well currently in 5th edition. I think it's a great class fantasy. I'm going to say one word, and you're going to get where this thing's going. And then it's going to really fall into the flavor of a Ranger. It takes the full spectrum of what a Ranger is at level 1 and 2, and then you take an aspect of it and just dive into it, which is exactly what subclasses are for, right? So in this way, I also wanted there. You know what? Okay, I think this is a good time to say it. I see a dual wield Ranger. Dual wield Ranger, no need to have a subclass, because any of these Rangers could be a dual wield Ranger. You could be a dual wield Beastmaster, dual wield, all these things. So that's no need for that. But my one word to describe this subclass of Ranger for the second locked in one is Witcher. The Witcher. If you're familiar with The Witcher and hunting supernatural monsters, being able to track monsters of all sorts and kinds and types, use oils on your weapons to be able to modify things alchemically to be able to even more hunt and find monsters better. We're going crazy in the chat now with this one. Also, if you are not familiar with this, let me dial things up to 10 even more here. We're getting so much hype for this one. Let's go. If we go to the Ranger here, where's my Ranger? There he is. So if we go to, let me share my screen here too. If we go to favorite terrain here, right? If we go to Hunter Bestiary, favorite terrain, the flavor feature, right? So Hunter Bestiary's flavor feature, okay? The Witcher is going to build on this, so stay with me. You develop a true knowledge of hunting creatures of all sorts and kinds. You have a bestiary, which is kind of like, almost like a wizard's spell book, but for beasts. You know all the stuff about beasts. You have advantage on checks to learn and recall information about the creatures you record in your book. You can build up this book over time as you fight more things. Starting entries. Choose a creature type. You choose one, and you choose that, blah, blah, blah. Your bestiary includes pre-recorded notes about various creatures of that chosen type. Cool. You have a little bit of a toe in the door across all these different types of creatures. Wow, that's cool. And then making new entries, you can spend 10 minutes or, short type of situation, and then kind of jot things down and grow your thing. Now, what The Witcher does is it's going to take that Hunter Bestiary and expand upon it. And what we're not going to do, like what happens in 5th edition with Rangers and their favored monster and favored terrain, all these types of things where it sucks, because if the game master, if you chose like dragons for your hunter at Ranger, if you chose dragons for your Ranger and you really want to be able to, like, that's what you want to be good at, and then the game master never puts dragons in the game, you're screwed, right? That sucks. So here's how it's going to be. Now this is just a flavor feature, so this is fine right here. But for the Witcher is going to be able to expand on this, and any monster that you have in your bestiary, you're going to be able to track better, kill better, have certain oils that you can make and apply on your weapons to deal more damage to them, hurt them more, kill them better, all that kind of stuff, right? So you're going to be able to have buffs towards those creatures, but you will be able to, once you have fought a creature, you put it in your book. Once you have fought a creature, once you've killed a creature, put it in your book. And then the next time you fight them, let's go. So you will literally be adapting to the things that you're hunting down and fighting better. So you don't have to choose dragons. I mean, your hunter beast thing, I mean, sure, you could choose dragon at the start. Sure, you could choose that and start off with dragons. Sweet. But let's say there's an adventure path where it's all about constructs, right? Well, if you're a Witcher ranger, you're going to fight your first construct. You're studying it, you're analyzing it, you're seeing what's going on, you're seeing where its weak spots could be, and you're going to be better at fighting it the next time you fight one. So, yeah. So anyway, I think it's going to be super sick. In general, it's far. I say one comment about bookkeeping. It's going to be a clean surface level of creature type. It's not going to be like, oh, have I fought this exact type of ooze? Have I fought a yellow ooze? Oh, I fought a yellow ooze, but not a, you know what I'm saying? It's going to be creature type. So literally it's going to be a section in your book that you just have a list of names, and eventually you'll have them all, right? And then you'll be fine. And then it's just anything. So at some point you will have, oh, it's only this one. And then it'll grow to like a list of 2 or 3. And then at some point it's going to get to where like half of them you have and half you don't. And then you're going to start keeping track of the ones you don't have. And you're going to have these things applicable to everything. So got to cap them all. I love it. I see you, Rune. So there's that. So that's super awesome for the Ranger. And those are the 2 locked in ones in general, right? So cool. I love all the hype for the Witcher Ranger. That one was super exciting. Now, those 2 are locked in. For the next ones I'm about to say, and then I did see I have some super chats. I am going to double back and catch those whenever I open up things for the Q&A, because the Q&A has not started yet. But here we go. New hydration check. I see you. Okay. These next three are up in the air for which one's gonna make it, right? So I can pretty much tell y'all that in 0.9, the 2 that are going into 0.9 will be Beastmaster and Witcher. That's probably gonna be the case. I don't want to lock that in for sure, right? But thank you, Clashrardic Mims. Thanks for jumping into the whole thing. Can't wait to see where it goes. Appreciate you jumping in on the ride. Welcome to the crew. All right, focus. So these next 3, I really want to see what y'all think about them, right? So if y'all really like it, let me see it, let me hear it. If y'all really don't, let me see it, let me hear it, right? So there's that. And then I'm going to do a vote at the end of this, so please stick around for the vote. And I'm going to try and go through these pretty quickly because these are the ones I'm wanting some solid feedback on, right? So here we go. 3 ones up in the air. I already told you the 2 Beastmaster, Witcher, locked in ones, right? Okay, cool. All right, now here's these 3. Overall, I'm just going to say the 3 of them so you get a big picture. And then I'm going to talk about the specifics. So don't say any numbers right now. Don't say any numbers right now about the ones that I'm saying. And then I'm going to start talking about them. We have a Plains Ranger. Think Horizon Walker type situation. We have a Trap Ranger. Think Master Trapsman, able to set up traps, shoot traps, range traps, lay traps around them, shoot traps into a thing, deploy traps remotely. Other things like that, MacGyver of traps, and then we have like a hunter of hunters, group hunter marksman situation, right? Which that one's the one that's the most about to get cut. I almost wasn't even going to bring it up for this one, but there's that. So now, here we go. The three on the docket. The first one up is Plains Ranger. The Plains Ranger is if y'all didn't know this, Rangers in DC20 are mundane. They are martials. They have no magic baseline in them, whatsoever, right? They don't have mana. They don't have anything like that, right? So whenever they Hunter's Mark something, it is literally them like tracking it and like doing stuff mundanely, no magic, right? The Plains Ranger takes and adds some magic into the actual base range. Like the ranger becomes, they have mana in some way, shape, or form, right? That's another territory they're going to be exploring and going into. So it is they become magical in some way, shape, or form as far as being a plains ranger. So they're plains and favored terrain. They can gain some things having to do with the plains. Their Hunter's Mark actually can track people across planes. They'll be able to tell what plane the other person's on. They'll be able to possibly even travel to different planes. They'll be able to ethereal walk. And I'm listing off a list of kind of just things where the class could go. Ethereal walk, shifting in and out like the blink spell, shifting in and out between planes to be able to shift and then appear somewhere else. Shoot, teleport to another spot and be able to move across and be able to move through the planes, through the material plane even, in different ways as far as that goes. And they could be able to mark and deal damage magically so to their marked target, track them better, all that kind of stuff, right? And I'll leave that as that. It opens up some things for magically types of stuff there. So there we go. Number two is the Trap Ranger, right? Trap Ranger is going to be better at setting traps, deploying them at a distance, hiding them, all sorts of things having to do with traps. Is literally to the point where they could set a trap down underneath themselves. If there's an enemy in front of them, they could set a trap down, deploy it, and jump backwards. And it like shoot it at their feet, and then they jump backwards like a disengage type of trap. Maybe some World of Warcraft inspiration things from certain abilities like disengage or whatever. But they would be able to shoot a trap, like MacGyver a trap onto their arrow in some way and fire it across, or sling it across, fire it with an arrow, fire it across, so however you want to flavor it, doesn't matter. You'll be able to launch traps and deploy them in certain spots where they can just deploy. Maybe they deploy and immediately explode. Maybe they deploy. Maybe you shoot a trap onto an enemy and it's just on an enemy. And so you like shoot a goblin with a trap and it's just on the goblin, and you can deploy it at any time as a reaction. That's kind of sick. You'll be able to shoot traps and deploy traps remotely and on purpose. That's a trapper concept there, right? Then the final one here was ultimately kind of even cut, but I'm still holding on to it in some way, shapes, or form. I'm calling it Group Hunter. A Group Hunter is kind of like a support class where the hunter is all about everyone around them. The hunter is about buffing the everyone as a group around themselves and being able to kind of expand that in a way outwards to others, so that their hunter's mark applies to everyone, and like everyone gains benefits when attacking their hunter's mark. They're able to be a field medic type of things, where they're able to kind of go and do some field medic type things. And they are literally, imagine if a Bear Grylls was on an adventure with you, and they are going to help you be better at traveling, help you be better at make medicine, mending, healing, removing conditions like poison and bleeding and other stuff like that. Be able to better track things as a group, better travel as a group, better be able to kill the target of you by buffing everybody else. So survivalist, MacGyver, Group Hunter is what I'm calling them for right now, right? Pack leader, that's pretty cool. Tour guide, wow, that's just not epic enough. But there we go. So now that is kind of where everything's at. So now I'm going to start a poll. Pick a ranger, and I'm going to have Plains Ranger, Trap Ranger, and I'm going to add an option, and Group Ranger, right? So there we go. Starting the poll. I want to see what you guys think. Hunter Master, support hunter. Yeah, it's support. A support hunter is as dead on as far as that is, Wayne. I agree. So yeah, what would this be? Subclass 10th level? You mean 9th level? Subclass's capstone is 9th level. Just for the record there. And in general, to answer your question, I'm not going to be hypothesizing about 9th level things for any class, although I do have some ideas, but I don't want to get people's hopes up or whatever. And then yeah, so there we go. So Trap Ranger. Yeah. That's where my gut was leaning. When I had to pick 3, I picked Beastmaster, Witcher, and Trap Ranger. But there's so much interest in Plains Ranger that I was like, oh, maybe not. Oh, I don't know. And then ultimately, if anyone who picked Group Ranger, which is losing the poll right now, anyone who picked Group Ranger, don't worry. Any of those ideas I just said about Group Ranger, if it doesn't become a subclass, instantly becomes Ranger class talents. And there's going to be class talents, and you'll be able to pick those up. So you'll be able to pick up the more support Ranger talents, and they can just be talents, and any of the Rangers can pick them up. So I think that's going to be fine. So yeah, and then tour guide, Mr. Waffler. That's funny. Rolling his pack hunter. Yep. All right, cool. So now, starting right now is when we'll end. It's perfect. We're at the halfway point. So there's the deal. I'm going to switch over to, I want to check in. I want to get caught up on super chats, and I'm opening up the questions. So ask your question, #question, starting right now. Wolves is going to go pick up your questions, and I'll answer them in the order I get them. Any super chats, jump to the front of the line, of course. Appreciate the support. And I never said this at the beginning too. At the end of every single live stream, I do a giveaway of DC20. If you don't have DC20, I hook it up for you. And if you do have DC20, I hook it up for you even more. And if you back the Kickstarter, I hook it up even more. And just I give back to the people that made this whole thing possible. So let's do it. And that's at the end of every live stream, no matter what sort of live stream goals that are hit. And if we do hit the live stream goal, I have a Die Hard Dice. It's the dice maker company that is making the DC20 dice, which I actually need to go check my mail. They just sent me the test copies of the dice. I should have got it next week. I will show them next week. I should have had it by now, but today's been crazy. So anyway, let me get caught up on super chats and I'll answer the question. So there we go. Doug Star, I got you. Anthony, for the fighter class ability, fighting spirit, combat readiness, brace. When you take the dodge action, does it cost 2 AP or 1 AP on the same turn? Wait, what? When you take the dodge action, does it cost 2 AP or 1 AP on the same turn? So you have the benefits of the dodge action, and it doesn't cost you anything. So Anthony Diaz, to make sure that it's clear, and in fact, this will be a good. I'm gonna put it up on screen so I can really walk you through the phrasing. So here it is. So fighter spirit, right? Brace. You gain the benefits of the dodge action and advantage on the next save you make, right? So to answer your question, take the dodge action. It costs 2. So you gain the benefits of the dodge action, not the full dodge action, but the dodge action, if that's what your question is. I think that might be what your question is. It's the dodge action, not full dodge. Like the disengage action is just regular. Full disengage is all the way completely. You can't make opportunity, all that kind of stuff. Same thing with dodge. So it is the next attack against you has disadvantage, right? So I hope that answers your question there. It's not the full dodge, and it doesn't cost you AP. You gain the benefits. Like it doesn't cost you AP when you do it. You get it for free. And then coach, the strongest Power Ranger, Purple Ranger. Sadly, there was not a Purple Ranger. I think later on at some point there was a Purple Ranger. I feel bad for not knowing that there's not a Purple Ranger. I'm going to have to look into that now. So thanks for that, Kyle. I'm going to go down that rabbit hole soon. Bear trap that spawns a bear to maul enemies. Oh, wow. That is quite a trap there. A trap that spawns a bear. A bear trap. That is a bear trap, dare I say. And then Logan, because I have to ask, we'll be getting a Gloomstalker, or is that with the Witcher? Yeah, Witcher would be a Gloomstalker. There's the Gloomstalker is everybody's favorite because it's just more damage and you get more attacks and all this other stuff. Like the Gloomstalker's class, the Gloomstalker, I could go on a little rant about this, and it kind of seems, but I don't want to be like, I'm not trying to D&D bash or anything like that. But the Gloomstalker Ranger does not have a lot of like subclass fantasy and like flavor and all this stuff. It's just like I attack more and I deal bonus damage when I attack more. Like So Witcher's going to be the Gloomstalker in just a better way, in my opinion. So I got you there, Logan. And then Liam, is a Swarmkeeper on the docket, or would that be part of the Beastmaster? I'd say it's part of Beastmaster. Swarmkeeper is just a bunch of beasts, which you could easily just say my familiar is a swarm of blank, right? Because I also don't want people to be like, oh, I have all these different things. That's Summoner will cross that road. And then Curly Bolt, the Ranger I play is all about writing lore on monsters, so Witcher makes me insanely happy. Immediate pick. Thank you, Dungeon Coach. Let's go, Curly. Yes, I got you. That's awesome. I love that it's just instantly just right up the alley of somebody that's already have a Ranger that's been playing. Love that. Is it because I want Anthony Diaz? It's because I want a nimble race with dodge action to make it a full dodge. I want a nimble race. Oh, I see what you're saying. I see there. I see what you're trying to do. I see what you're trying to do there, Anthony. I see you. Does it stack with brace and nimble? And if it just gives you the dodge action benefit, and then this was a question that was asked before. So, the benefit of nimble is an elf passive. It's an ancestry trait. Is if you take the dodge action and you spend your own action points on it, that is what lets you be able to do that, get that little bonus for free thing. A fighter giving you this benefit is a fighter giving you this benefit. If you have nimble, that's not this benefit. I know the word dodge was said. You gain the benefits of the dodge action. That's what you get. You didn't take the dodge action, right, which is what nimble does. It was instead of when you take all that type of stuff. Those are separate. I know that would be like but I think we all know that why that would not interact. You know what I'm saying? So there's that. And then Logan, follow up. Will Blood Hunter exist in any way? So in general, The Witcher is a great shot at the Blood Hunter, doing it in a way that is not over the top. I spin my own blood and I take the blood of myself and I use it to do bit edgelordy there. So the Blood Hunter is possible for the Ranger. Yes, it is possible. It is on the docket. It's one of the other subclasses listed that's not going to be in the core rules. But I also see that could be a Warlock, and it might be a better fit for the Warlock to have that type of situation with all the blood magic and whatnot, just for the record, right? Dorian Blake, late fee, love you, man. Keep up the good work. Dorian. Gosh, those always get me, man. Appreciate you. You just stopped me to apologize for being late, say I love you, and can we keep it? And that's the fuel to the fire, baby. Thank you for that, Dorian. You guys are my fuel. That keeps this whole game going. Let's go. Jekyll Geek. Are elves all wood elves, so gnomes can be the wizard ancestry? Are Shadowborn good drow? Okay, so a couple things with lore. So there's a DC20 lore is completely different than D&D lore. It's going to be to the spot where it's not gonna hit you in the face with it's like a wildly different and it's something crazy and you're gonna feel uncomfortable. I think you're gonna love the lore in general. I think it does some cool things. But elves are elves, and there are no such thing necessarily of wood elves, high elves, drow, dark elves, this and that. You can absolutely do that because the ancestor system in DC20 lets you do that easily. You can have elves be the way they are, and if you want to go pick up some more nature things, mix it with halfling, mix it with beastborn, and you're set. Mix it with gremlin. You'll be amazingly set. Like, you're so good, right? There'll be a tree ant ancestry that you can mix with that too, and you can have your nature elves, and you could be absolutely fine, right? There's your wood elves. And if you want to mix it with gnomes, you get your high elves. Like, you absolutely can make any of these elves, whatever your headcanon is for what you want elves to be, because you've already said wood elves, right? So in DC20, like, there's not this is a wood elf, this is a high, like, there's elves. There's all sorts of elves, right? And I think that's a cool way to do it. And someone like Jekyll Geek can come in there and be like, oh, I have my own headcanon for what I want elves to be. I want wood elves, I want high elves, I want dark elves. And you instantly can do that in DC20 and you're set and taken care of. And that's exactly what I want to do. Because if somebody else comes in and they want a different type of elf, they want a pixie magical fairy elf, there you go. You can do that too. Everything, you're set. You know what I'm saying? And then our Shadowborn good drow, to answer the question simply, yes. They are good drow. That's actually maybe a great way to say that, because they're not inherently evil, and none of the ancestries are inherently evil. I had a whole rant about that whole thing. But yeah, there you go. And then Kyle, what's up, Kyle, again? I see you, bro. Kyle, hey, coach, my players want to play with pets. Which current base class would you recommend they take? Also, would the pets be the same stats as a mob? So in general, this is basically like a companion thing. And if they wanted a pet, they should just take the familiar spell, right? They should just take the find familiar spell and you're good. And if a game master wanted to have a pet for a player and then tame one or get one or obtain one or work for one, I would have that be a downtime type thing. They would have to find, I'd make them work for it. They would have to find some sort of beast and catch it, and they have to work consistently through long rest and other things to be able to make it to where the point where it doesn't run away. And then they have to work on it with downtime. And after a series of downtime, and that's a whole other thing, and I haven't released about DC20 is downtime actions and stuff like that. And it's a whole thing. They'd be able to unlock a little pet companion situation. And how I would do that as a game master is I would basically take the familiar stat block and make a familiar stat block, but it's a living thing and you can't cast spells through it or summon it into a pocket dimension, or it's a living creature that listens to you. You know what I'm saying? And can understand basic commands. You can't talk to a telepath. It's none of the magic stuff. So basically take a familiar stat block, make that at the most base level possible, and there you go. And you'd be fine. And as far as what class to play with, it doesn't matter. You can play any class, you know what I'm saying? And have a pet. Just a game master thing. You gotta talk to your game master about it, you know? But if you wanted to really have a pet, you would, right now I think Warlock would be your best bet because they have a Pact of the Familiar. So yeah, you go. Jordan Carr, what's up, Jordan Carr? Hello, off topic to Ranger stuff. Most excited with the Trap Ranger. Nice, good to know. How would you convert your DBE master class? Also, what would be the damage like for the techniques that does 12d6 force damage? So damage is about a third or a fourth. It's about 3.5 times less in general. That number might be a little bit off now since some things have changed with weapons. So that was what the number was before the weapons nerf, but the weapons kind of brought things more back in line. So it's probably more like a fourth. If you wanted to kind of round it off. So you would take 2d6, so 12d6, a d6's average is 3.5, so 2d6 would be 7, so 7 times 6, so that's what you would have to have there. So you'd have 42 damage divided by 4, so it's like 10 or 12 damage, so you'd have a spell that does like 10 damage. There's a quick math on that. It would deal 10 true damage. Whoa, that's insane. And then it'd be wild, right? So yeah, and absolutely, there's already some Dragon Ball influence on some monk subclasses, a barbarian subclass, and some things like that. So stay tuned for those types of things. But yeah, those are things I would love to go revisit once the actual game is released and I can think about stuff like that. But yeah, I love that, Jordan. And then Phantom of Most Resistance, late fee, toss a coin in, to your Witcher. Oh, Valley of Plenty. Oh, Valley of Plenty. Oh man, love the Witcher love, y'all. I really do love to see y'all's reactions to how this whole thing goes. So thank you for that. I appreciate that, Pat. And then War Daddy. Sorry if I missed this earlier, but is the Ranger still a master tracker? I want to play a bounty hunter like this. Yes. What's funny you say that, War Daddy. One of my most favorite subclasses was going to be a bounty hunter. And it was going to be like, oh, a bounty hunter subclass. And yeah, bounty hunter subclass. But then I was like, wait, the Ranger already is a bounty hunter. You have Hunter's Mark. It's a mundane Hunter's Mark. You can track people down. Da, da, da. So the Ranger itself already is a bounty hunter. And the Beastmaster might be kind of weird, but any of these Ranger things you pick up is you're going to be able to accomplish that at the core level of any Ranger, right? So bounty hunter, you're set. If you want to play like a Boba Fett type situation, you're so good. So yeah, bounty hunter is going to be for sure protected because that was my number one subclass. But then I was like, actually, the Ranger's already kind of good for that, you know, or even just a simple talent for something like that. And then Ryan Combs, Final Fantasy has a blue mage class that lets you learn monster abilities. Dragon's Breath, Troll Regen could be cool for Witcher subclass. Oh, I know. There was a cleric situation for that. There was a sorcerer and a warlock. Pretty much every spellcaster, I have gone down the rabbit hole being like, what if you could steal other people's magic? And that gets kind of crazy. It's just really hard to codify. So I can tell you right now that a blue mage would not be in the core rules just because of how wild that would be to codify. And ultimately, I would want to put the blue mage in after the monster manual for DC20 is done, because then that's hundreds of monsters under the belt to be able to do something like that, so that we can make sure that, you know, it's more responsible time to make a class like that, since it's way more complicated design wise to make. But love that, Ryan. Regan P. Well, how well would Notion work for a character sheet? I've seen some Notion character sheets. I personally wouldn't do it. How I play if I ever, you know, forever game master here. Of course, and ironically so. But I do paper. I always do a paper sheet, and I have Notion for like other things and notes and ability notes and other things like that. So that's just almost like my note spreadsheet there, and my character sheet is clean and pristine on a piece of paper. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know. I would not do that in Notion in general, and I use Notion for everything. So Rex Room, in my honest opinion, I think Beastmaster Ranger works better as the class talent. I dislike it in D&D because it forces me to choose it over other subclasses. I want to be a Witcher with a pet, not one or the other. I see what you're saying. So you'll be able to do that ultimately, Rex Room. So because there's a tamer class, and so Rex Room, I don't know if this sells you on this, if this convinces you of this situation, but if you want to do this, right, you're already set, man. You know what I'm saying? There's going to be a tamer class with a level 1 class feature that gives you a badass pet, like boom, straight up, right? And you're going to have that. And if you wanted to do that, you're going to be able to go do that. So if you wanted to play your Witcher with a pet, you would do that. You'd make a ranger at level 1, and at level 2, you'd get your level 2 ranger talent, and you get your level 2 ranger class feature, and you'd get a talent that you would go spend on the tamer, and then you're just set. You have your pet right now, and at level 3, you pick Witcher, and you're good. You know what I'm saying? So that will be the thing through the tamer. You know what I'm saying? So that's kind of where that whole thing's going. And that's going to be kind of the design space that we're watching out for to step over, and the overlap and how that whole thing looks. So it's definitely something we're actively watching. So it's valid concerns there for sure. And then Bailey Wiki. Bailey, they were just giving you props, bro. Bailey Wiki is the lead designer of the Foundry module for DC20 on Foundry. So absolutely huge work he's been doing. Patrick, which is one of the volunteers on my team, led the charge. We merged with Bailey Wiki, and Bailey Wiki is like the main man when it comes to Foundry, and merged together to make it what it is. So props to Bailey Wiki there. He's on YouTube. Freaking check him out, y'all. But there's Bailey Wiki. Super chatting. You don't need a super chat here, bro. What are you doing? Can't wait to build these Ranger subs into the Foundry VTT system. So dope. I voted Trap Ranger for the record. I feel like, I don't want to say anything officially, but I feel like Trap Ranger is going to be a thing. Just saying. I don't know. I think it's pretty cool. That's where my head's leaning. And then Flag. Thank you for the super chat, Flag. Are you thinking at all about reworking mana and how it works? From refreshing at long rest to something that can recharge more similar to stamina. So Flag, here's the thing. Here's my hot take on this. So I'm just going to tell you my opinion and get you in my head right now, and then we'll see where it goes. I think it would stamina works the way it does because it's stamina. It can recharge like that, and it's cool because it's just stamina. It's mundane, athletic stuff you can do. You can't cast spells. You can't magically levitate things. You can't send messages to people across the world. You can't teleport. You can't mind control somebody with stamina, right? So mana is so powerful because it recharges on a long rest. So anyone who's proposed, because Flag, you're not alone in thinking this thought, right? It's a very valid thing that multiple people have said, but I don't know. Let's go down this rabbit hole. So, all right, cool. We're gonna refresh like you just get mana. You just have mana. You just have mana all the time. It's similar like stamina. And people have also said like, oh, there's certain things that classes can do to regain mana. And then now I just worry about all the weird meta stuff people are doing about they're doing these weird dumb things just to regain mana, and they're like heavily corrupting their own play style. Because spell casting, you can pick so many different spells that completely change the way you play the game. But if we add some sort of thing and some sort of mechanic like that, then you have to cast spells a certain way to gain mana back in these weird ways that we then have to gate in some sort of arbitrary way, because then you could have infinite mana. If you have infinite mana, then the whole game breaks, healing breaks, teleportation, any sort of thing that involves like charming people or advantage on charisma checks or things, people are just gonna be spamming that and they're gonna have infinite mana. Oh my gosh. And then we're in the same problem D&D has with marshals, and marshals get thrown under the bus, and then everything that was made for stamina is needed so that marshals can hang with mana. Mana is so strong, right? And if we did make mana just make it rain, we'd have to nerf the living hell out of mana. Or add weird arbitrary gates to where like, yeah, you have all this mana, but this ability, you can only cast this spell once per this, and you can only cast this spell once per, and you can only do this once, and we have to like add these weird artificial gates in these other ways. So mana is a pool. You spend the mana until you run out. You got cantrips, you got plenty of classes, you got stuff, and that's the gameplay for spellcasters, and I think it's a healthy way to set up the game. There's my hot take on it. But we will see as the game keeps progressing and developing. Nothing like that will change until past level 5. Once we're level 5 and we're rolling through level 5, we can talk about that. But I think that's what's best for the health of the game, in my opinion, for those types of things. So I have now seen how much I am behind with super chats, and I'm going to have to go into some overtime I'm going to have to go into overtime early to try and get through these so I can actually answer just the super chats. Oh my God. Here we go, dialing it in. Simon Argent, any plans for extra attack feature for marshals? No, I don't think the extra attack is needed. I think it would corrupt the game. At one point at level 5, I was going to give everyone one more action point. That would now be terrible. I think that was like 0.1 type ideas. That would be bad. I think there's no need for it. I think the game's perfectly balanced as far as action economy of attacking. Why would I want to have people, oh, you can attack easier now? I don't think it's needed. There's other ways that we can be able to accomplish that in a more fun way that's not just like, hell yeah, now we can make more attack checks, right? There's gonna be cooler ways for scaling that doesn't have to rely on extra attack, right? You can already do so many cool things with DC20. I don't think it's needed. Kyle Doring, also, will we get a blank mob creator? Get a blank mob creator for 0.9. 0.9, no, but in the monster manual type thing, that is something that's coming in the works. But 0.9 with subclasses, that's what we got to focus on. There's no time to focus on a blank mob creator whenever we have all these freaking subclasses, so many subclasses. Liam, since we're talking about rangers, what are your thoughts on a system for harvesting monster parts and kills and making parts of? Oh yeah, they're 100%. Put me on record for this. There is going to be a monster crafting system like Monster Hunter. Absolutely. If y'all didn't know this, Alkender's Almanac, the second book that I was going to release for 5th edition, was a Monster Hunter crafting and creation book. That book still exists and is just being converted to DC20. So that book's almost even not written, but you know what I'm saying? Like, that's absolutely going to be a thing. And then Joseph, Joseph Blosser, is there first time super chat? Thank you, Joseph. Is there a chance of having weapons or gear skills you channel MP into and rather potentially override MP cast limits or just MP a store for later use? Yeah, there's absolutely there's some things going around with spell focuses. That'll probably be a 0.10 thing. Is spell focuses for spellcasters, which are going to kind of be like weapons in some ways. There's going to absolutely be magic items that let you be able to kind of screw around with magic in that way. Override MP cast limits. I will say the only caveat there is the mana spin limit is something I'm very heavily watching, because that's a very quick way to break the game if I start slacking up on that. But yeah, absolutely, all those things are on the docket, especially 0.10. So stay tuned for that. True Galad, first time live without leveling up magic items. Wait, first time live. Well, first time super chat, first time live. Thank you, True Galahad. True Galahad, I love it. What about leveling up magic items? Yes, there's going to be dynamic magic items. I think that's the word for it, but it's magic items that level up with you, magic items that become more sentient over time, magic items that there's a whole other thing about magic items with, like, I don't want to get down that rabbit hole, but there's class specific magic items that level up with you. There's general magic items that get stronger as you do certain things and unlock certain things about them, like doing certain things, attuning to them in certain ways to be able to attune them in the first place. Then they unlock and become more powerful when you use X amount of things, or you kill a vampire with a blank or whatever, right? You see what I'm saying? And then there's also items that become more and more sentient as you, baby. And then Rose Nebula. Oh my gosh, there's no way I'm going to be able to get through the super chats. This is insane. You guys are awesome. Rose Nebula, Hunter over Ranger. Fits class fantasy plus can be melee. I agree. We might see the Ranger's name change. I'm just saying. Zane Taylor, will there be a rogue / Ranger subclass that is expert at using mundane equipment with buffs to throwing out or making couch up traps, ball bearings? Oh, Zane Taylor, Trap Ranger. Trap Ranger, you're gonna love the Trap Ranger. That is literally exactly what you're explaining, and it's all mundane equipment. Trap Ranger, that's gonna be your subclass, bro. Duskbreaker Ranger, cracked knuckles, ready for the bear trap. Now I can't not see a bear trap that summons a bear. Every time I think of bear trap now, that's going to be what I think of. And then Liam with the thing for super chat again. Thoughts on Ranger subclass that will expand on flavored terrain? I don't necessarily think that is subclassable. I think there could be a talent that could expand more flavored terrains and stuff like that, but I just don't have a lot of inspiration if I hear like, a terrain-based ranger. And I'm like, if I put so much power, I also worry about game masters and all the stuff worries about the 5e ranger of like, they have all these things based on the terrain, and it's only if you're in that terrain. I think if we do a subclass based on that, that's going to lead to some bad feels at the table. And then Agile Monk with the deep bow. Thank you for the 5 gifted memberships. Spreading the love as usual, Agile Monk. Appreciate you, brother. Felipe, what is your opinion on a first time super chat? Thank you, dude. What is your opinion on vague / open-ended ability descriptions in flavor of not limiting creative use against specific and rules heavy descriptions in flavor of game balance? See, I love these types of questions. I could just talk about game design theory for forever, and these are the type of things I wish I could run into Felipe at like a house party or something, where I'm just talking and they're like, you play games? You play? You make games? What is your thing? This question, I would talk to Felipe for freaking hours talking about this stuff. But in general, I think what is most responsible and what is most on brand for DC20 is to be more specific on what it is and what it does. And DC20 at least needs to be more specific on what things do and how it relates and connects to other things, so that the game is more balanced and more clear at what you can do and how it connects to other things. If I were to make a different game that I would probably collaborate with Bob Worldbuilder on, because Bob Worldbuilder likes to have things be more broad and generic and things, and things are like, this thing, it does this. And like, how would you use it? But it's like vague on purpose, right? I could see myself making a game like that, and that would be super fun. And that's kind of what I do, like whenever I play with my son, and it's like, you are good with ice. You're good with ice. And I keep things very vague. you're good with ice. You can walk on ice. You can breathe ice out of your mouth somehow. I don't know. You can make an ice spear and throw it. Like, yeah, ice abilities, right? So that type of vagueness, that's super vague. You get the idea. But there's my 2 cents there. But DC20, I think, has to be more specific to be responsible when making a game, if that makes sense. So Kyle's spreading the love with memberships too. Kyle, coming in, you super chat, and you're doing this, man, killing it. Rex Room. My only concern about the Beastmaster subclass is it will feel irrelevant once the Tamer releases. Forgive me for being forward, but knowing the Tamer will release, I won't use Beastmaster. So yeah, and that's honestly the absolute very, very, very valid concern of what we're going to be evaluating. Even in fact, Rex Room, I could see this happening. Absolutely, I could see this. I could see us releasing Beastmaster in the 0.9 beta. I could see us releasing the Beastmaster. Here it is, and then us being like, all right, well, ooh, wait a second. Man, we really don't need this. Cut it and put in another ranger, right? And then now the 3 rangers would be Witcher, Trapper, and Plains Ranger. Done, right? I absolutely could see that being a thing. But I think I need to do my due diligence for the community to try the Beastmaster Ranger. At least try it, right? And then Flag, fighter subclass based on... A fighter subclass based fully on cracking knuckles. You got me with that one. You got me with that one. You got me. Okay, you win. You win on that one. A brawler. Which there kind of is. Monk / fighter. Based off of cracking. Maybe there kind of is already. Onyx Studios. Hey, welcome to the team member. And Bailey Wiki's a team member. What are you doing, Bailey Wiki? Bailey, look, as a team, I'm gonna have to go be a team member on you to try and cancel out you being a team member on me, bro. Thanks for that, and thank you, Onyx Studios. Welcome, dude. Rex Room also cracks knuckles. I'm sorry, I had to. Y'all don't date me. Oh, listen. It hurts so bad. I hate doing it. War Daddy, magical trap maker subclass for sorcerer wizard like Zama from Black Clover anime. I don't know Zora from Black Clover anime, but a magic trap maker subclass, artificer, baby, artificer. And there is a subclass for wizard that is a trap sigil subclass, where their sigils that they put on the ground turn into traps, and they can move their sigils around and explode them. They can explode their own trap. They can put a sigil down underneath something and explode. Yeah, so there's a trap wizard. Don't worry about that one. So there you go. Liam, I'm gonna get caught up here. Oh my God, perfect timing. You did it for sorcerer last time. Can we see what other subclass concepts are on the docket for ranger? Yeah, you know what? So I'll put this here. Here we go. Let me put this on the screen, and then we can have boom. So there's a divination tracker ranger. I really love this one. It's like divination. You can track a target without even seeing them. You just like locate creature like. If you track a creature, you literally have a line like a GPS, like going straight to them. You shoot arrows and they just hit your target. If you hunters mark them, it becomes magic missile type situation. I think that's super cool. A Tyrande, if you're not familiar with this, I love this. It's basically you hunters mark a target and you hunters mark an ally. And when you deal damage to that target, it heals your ally. And you have basically a good mark, an enemy mark and an ally mark. And you can move both marks around to like deal damage to the enemy mark to heal the ally mark. I think it's super sick. There's the Blood Hunter, Stealth Ambusher, Bounty Hunter, and Undead Ranger. So there's some other things right there. That's all you get to see for that. But there you go. I got you, Liam. And then Kyle Doring, your 10 to 20 minute DC describing YouTube videos. Perfect. Your 10 to 20 minute DC20 describing YouTube videos. Perfect. Kyle, what are you talking about with that? Kyle? I'm so confused. But what you? All right, cool. All right, there we go. And now we have reached the end of the live stream. Everybody in the chat, say something. Type in something. Type a number. Type an animal companion that you would have if you were a Beastmaster Ranger. Type in the word something, which is what most of you are doing. There's that. And then Penguin. Oh my God, I should have seen it coming. I shouldn't have said type in animal. I messed up. I messed up on that. I genuinely messed up on that. And it's typing in emoji also does work. And then undead fighter could be fire. Love it. We have reached the end of the live stream. I'm going to do a giveaway in a couple seconds here. I am going to just because I'm going to answer the first question that was asked that wasn't a super chat because I do feel bad, but also appreciate all the super chats. That's how things keep moving like this, and that's what we've kind of evolved into. But the first people that come in and ask questions, I do feel bad that I can't get to the actual questions because there's so many super chats. But obviously that's good for everything we're doing here because it goes back into DC20. Ranger fight, etc. Rework videos are perfect. Oh, the fighter. Oh, I see. The rework. Yeah, I love that. Thank you. I do love making those videos, and that's like I said. I'm only going to be making videos that I love to make for DC20, and that's there's that. So heck yeah. And then make Rangers great again. Mantic, make Rangers great again. Your icon of that is perfect for make Rangers great again. And then so question, can we get peeks of the new cleric and warlock? Oh, that's JP Nobody was the first question there. Oh, that's interesting. Plans to allow grapple to use agility. In general, I would say no. That's my first thoughts on that. But if agility needed a little bit of love, maybe I would do that. Archery warlock, am I covered in core? Archery warlock, am I covered in core? Yeah, you're covered in core. Archery warlock, heck yeah. Packed weapon warlock, super sick. I love that. All right, anyway, and let's do the winner. Here it comes. Winner, bang. And the winner is Nightbot is here. Nightbot is sober, and Nightbot says Wargasm. Wargasm message on Discord. Check the Discord. It's linked in everywhere I think I ever post anything. Get on Discord. Message a moderator. Their names are in red. I feel like I'm giving you very specific instructions of like a ransom note or something. Their names are in red. Message them. Give them your email, and then I will hook it up. Let them know what you're getting, what you want right there. So boom, bang, done. There you go. Wargasm. Wait, I just saw Wargasm responded. Orgasm. Oh yeah. Says does the Kool-Aid. Congrats. Oh yeah. And as far as the cleric goes, the warlock rework is nothing. I guess the warlock rework is kind of important, but it's basically just dialing back a lot of the things with blood and stuff. It's more having to do with like a contract and a patron relationship, making the deal with them in that type of way. There's a lot of feedback of like not wanting it to be like blood and health based. That's still there. You still can heal. You still can sacrifice health, but there's other ways to get that across as well. And then cleric's the whole bigger story. And then trap monk fighter like Ranma. What? Trap monk fighter like Ranma. Coffee stain. I'm gonna have to check into Ranma. What is it? Trap monk fighter. Whew, that's wild. That's a weird combo. I can't even wrap my head around. Liam, what class is next? You'll have to find that out next time on probably the rogue. I kind of maybe ruined that. I probably could have done a cool like next time. Find what would the class be? So yeah, I messed that one up. But anyway, thank you guys. Love doing these. You guys look forward to them every week. See y'all next week. Stay creative. Think outside the box. Peace. Dragon Ball Z. I can do this. I'm gonna do this. Stay creative. Think outside the box. Peace.